Hey guys, so in this video really quickly, I just want to show you a good entry for the 4 rules strategy, Daven's 4 rules strategy. As most of you know, I incorporate the Sharif strategy where my RSI settings are on 80 and 20. And I do use the Bollinger Band, the RSI, the Stochastic, and the MACD. You can see my settings here. I'll also drop in the description where you can get a document of Daven's 4 rules that I print out and I always keep in front of me. I know it by heart now. But really quickly, as you can see right over here to the right, GBP USD was called, and it was called like 2 or 3 times. So as soon as it was called, this is exactly, let me show you exactly what you want to look for, okay? So there are 4 rules you want to look for. This is one of them. You want, if they call a buy, you want price to close outside of the Bollinger Band, all right? So as you can see, the red candle closed outside of the Bollinger Band. Also, you want your RSI to come to the 20 level or below 30. I like it to go below 20, but if it's below 30, that's a confirmation for me, preferably below 20. Also, too, you want your blue signal line on the stochastic to come down to the 20 level, come up and cross over the red signal line, okay? So your blue candle is pretty synonymous with your bull candle up here. So this is your first confirmation, your second one, your third one, and your fourth one is your MACD. Now, when the alert went off, the MACD came down, the blue signal line. It was just touching the red signal line and starting to go up. So everything was pointed up. That's a confirmation, all right? That's your first confirmation. Then you want to quickly glance the 15-minute chart. You want to look for the same setup. As you can see, the red bearish candle closed outside of the Bollinger Band. Your RSI came down to right about the 20 level and started to point up. Then your blue signal line crossed over your red signal line and started to go long. And then my MACD hadn't crossed yet. So here's a really good observation, guys. I usually put in 2 positions. I normally go for a 3 to 5 pip take profit, but the more I've learned with this strategy and I've journaled so many trades, because I've been trying to nail down my risk management plan with this strategy and it's gotten a lot better. So if you want to go for 3 pips, you can win all day long. It's almost impossible to lose, okay? But I have noticed there are situations where, for example, if I have a perfect setup on the 5-minute, the 15-minute mirrors it pretty much exactly, but the MACD hasn't crossed yet, this trade will continue to go long until MACD crosses all the time. So sometimes I will close out my first position with a 10 pip take profit or a 3 to 5 pip take profit. And my second position, I'll hold it until the MACD crosses on the 15-minute chart. But also, once the 15-minute takes place, you then move over to the 30-minute chart, okay? And if your MACD hasn't crossed on the 30-minute chart, you can still hold that position open until the MACD crosses. Now, I'm very confident in this because I've journaled enough trades to see that this will take place. And this is what happens when the market is it's oversold and it's going long. Your bulls are now coming in and taking over. And this is just, it's right on point, guys. So I've journaled enough trades to know this, but like I said, if you want to go for 3 pip gain, you will win all day long. On my mobile phone, I added the moving averages as a greater confirmation. So sometimes it helps me trade with the trend and I can stay in longer if I want to, but I don't get greedy. I just like to, I love the analyzer. And if you trade it during high momentum times, like I'm trading the New York session right now, you'll get really good alerts. If not, you can wake up and trade the London session. That's a nice volatile session as well. The only other thing I look at is I look at the 1-hour time frame to draw my support and resistance. So basically, what I did when the trade was called and after I checked the 5-minute and the 15-minute chart, I then went to the 1 hour and I just drew my support lines here. So I put a line there and then I also put a line down here at the bottom. Right here. And keep in mind when you go to the lower time frame, it's going to look a bit different. So that gave me an idea that, okay, price will probably go, I usually use this yellow line here as support and resistance. That's the moving average line on the Bollinger Band. So we use that as support and resistance. But if you look at, you know, what price has been doing, then this tells me that possibly this trade will possibly try to retrace here and maybe make its way back down again. So as you can see, it's more of a downtrend right here on the 1 hour. So this just kind of gives you an idea. The web analyzer normally trades against the trend majority of the time, but it's a scalping tool. So if you're going for, you know, honestly, you could go from anywhere to 3 to 30 to 40 pips. But if you don't get greedy, you can win all day long. But I just want to show you really quickly how I use this. And, you know, my team really appreciates visual examples and how I get this done. And I know when I was new and trying to figure this out, the visual examples really helped. Although sometimes I couldn't understand the information that, you know, I was viewing, I watched it over and over again. So if you practice, 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 and demo, you will definitely get this. And I'll share one more thing with you so that you can see exactly what my profits look like. I'm not going to show them, I'm going to blur it out. But as you can see here, I sent a message to our team this morning, and I basically showed them my MT4 on my mobile phone to show them exactly what it looks like. So I try to help everyone make minimum $10 a day to cover their subscription if they haven't taken advantage of the referral program. So we showed them how to do that with the web analyzer, with pivot strategy, or any strategy that they want to use. Everyone's different, and that's what's beautiful about IML is we have so many different ways you can trade. This is my 15-minute chart. So I'm basically showing you how it looked on the analyzer versus how it also looks on my MT4 mobile. I usually, when I'm home, I look at my computer web analyzer setup, and I like to enter the trade on my phone. Okay, and then here's a picture of my profits. I'm going to blur it out, but this is proof. I sent it to our team, and I was able to catch 23 pips, really 24 pips on this trade. All right, so 24 pips. I did a 10 pip stop loss. So again, what I did was I took the lowest point. So I looked at the lowest point of where the trade had been. Actually, let me go back to the web analyzer, and I'll show you exactly how I sorted out my risk management. So normally I said I go for a 3 to 5 pip take profit. When I do that, you really don't want to go for 3 to 5 pips to risk losing 15 to 20, okay? So the more I have learned, the more I have earned, and I've figured out more things with this. And so now, you know, based on what I'm looking at and understanding market structure better, I know when I'm able to go for 10 to 15 pips or more. And so I will risk 10 pips. So what I did was, if I put my lowest point here, if I put my horizontal line here, right at the floor, what I usually will do, so this is my support level. So what I will usually do is I will put a 10 pip stop loss from here because my entry was right up in here. I got in like right before price started going way long. So if you have a great entry, then your stop loss would be set pretty reasonably. So I do a 10 pip stop loss for a 10 to 15 pip gain or more. And once you get to a certain point, you can also do a trailing stop loss. You can look at our YouTube to find the trailing stop loss. And once you get really comfortable, honestly, you want to pick a pair. Like you start to trade these different pairs, but you don't have to take every pair from the web analyzer. For example, I can trade GBP USD and trade it up and down. Notice that it's now setting up for to go short, okay? So you'll see that it's pretty much lining up. The MACD isn't there yet, but it's going to be ready for a sell soon. So I hope this visual example helps you out. Feel free to comment on this video if you have questions about the 4 rules entry or how this strategy works. And you can also make sure you check out the website for the document. You can print those rules out if you want to see that. Otherwise, I hope you all are blessed and well, continue to trade well. Remember, don't focus on making money when you're new. Focus on learning to trade well and following your rules. And guys, I can tell you this will work out for you. Be blessed.